Hey there, good people. My name is Scott, and you are watching Sword and Shield Studio. Right now, we are going to learn how to use power windows to selectively color grade your video on the color page in DaVinci Resolve. Let's see how it's done. Alright, so the first thing you will need to do is navigate to the color page in Resolve, where I am now, and select the clip that you want to color grade from the clips window down here. You might have a bunch of different clips. In my case, I just have the one from a previous YouTube video. So I'm going to left click and select that. And then you can save yourself some screen space by closing the clips window at the top here and the gallery window at the top left here. And before I begin using power windows to selectively color grade, I'm going to quickly white balance my image by going down to the eyedropper above my color wheels at the bottom left here. It'll say white balance when you hover over it. Left click that, and then I'm going to select a generally neutral point on my white shirt here. And then you'll see there are bars underneath the node indicating that adjustments were made. And I'm going to hit Alt S to add a new serial node after that node that I just white balanced on. It's generally a good idea to keep different kinds of adjustments in separate nodes like this. Next, let's start selectively grading this with power windows. To get to the power windows, hit the circle icon here above the curve graph. It will say Windows when you hover over it. Select any preset shapes you like. We've got a linear rectangle, circle, polygon line, curve, and a gradient. In my case, I'm going to select the circle because ultimately what I would like to do here is increase the exposure of myself in the foreground and darken the background to create some separation in my image. So I'll select the circle, and you'll see we get the power window over our image here, and I'm just going to first shape this first circle around my head. Then I will adjust the softness, bring up the softness quite a bit actually, so it's not such a hard edge. And then I'm going to click this icon here with the circle and the plus sign to add another power window. And I'm going to adjust that for my chest, just slightly smaller than my shoulders there, and increase the softness again. Now that I've defined the general area that I want to adjust, I can start making some changes. I'm going to bump up the gain here on my slider. Till just before on my scopes it clips off. Don't want it to go at 1023 here and clip off. You want it just below. So no, you're not losing any color information. Maybe I'll increase the gamma just a slight bit, 0.02 maybe. I think that looks good. And I'll increase the saturation amount just a touch to bring back some of the color in my skin that might have been lost from adjusting the exposure. Now if you want, at this point, you can track the power window that's around your face to match your movement. You can do this by left clicking the power window you want to track to make it active. Make sure you're at the beginning of your clip. Click the tracker icon down here and then hit this play icon to the right if you're at the beginning of the clip to track forward. And you'll see Resolve will match the movement and scale and position, everything with this power window to match the movement of your face. I'm just going to disable my power window preview here and see how that looks. And it's pretty good. In my case, it adds a bit of an undesirable exposure on the back wall here, which I don't want. So if this were a more in-depth project for a client, I would create a power window that exactly matches the shape of my face and track it that way. But since this is just for YouTube, I'm just going to hit Control Z and undo the tracking and just position the power window in an average spot where my face would be most of the time. The next thing I want to do with this image is darken the background slightly to create even more separation and have myself stand out from the background. In order to do that, select the node that you created the power windows with here on the right and hit Alt-O on your keyboard to create an outside node. So what the outside node is, it just selects everything outside of what was selected in the previous node, which is our power windows. So this will select the background. Here I will just reduce the gamma a slight bit. Where I'm not crushing the shadows too much, it's just a bit darker. And then I will introduce a color boost. It's just to slightly bring back color in the poster and the light behind me. Another thing I can do is introduce a slight blur to the outside node to create even more separation by clicking the teardrop triangle icon here. It'll say blur when you hover over it. Make sure you still have the outside node selected. I'm just going to bring this up to 0.54. Now, if you want to see the difference between your original image and your graded one, you can just select the various nodes you made adjustments to and hit Control D on your keyboard to disable it. So we can see how the background is affected by the outside node. And then if I select the power window node here and disable it, you can see the complete before and after. As you can see, that makes a huge difference. That does it for this tutorial. I hope you learned a bit about the basics of how to use power windows and how you can use them to selectively color grade parts of your video. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel where I upload a video just like this one every week. In addition, Sword and Shield Studio goes live every Sunday night where I'll be answering questions and working on something in Fusion, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.